Welcome all. The FemInno conference, a new initiative by Girls in Tech, is the largest international conference on women's innovation in Armenia and the larger region. I'm joined by Seda Papoyan, the managing director of Girls in Tech and also the initiator of the FemInno conference. We will discuss exactly what the conference is, what it is trying to achieve, and why it is important to get women involved in Armenia's burgeoning tech sector. So Ms. Papoyan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for hosting me.
So to start off, the conference is taking place between July 30th and July 31st in Hamalir, which is also known as the Garant Demircan Sports and Concerts Complex. There will be 30 speakers from around the world. 2,000 participants are expected. There are also going to be workshops and masterclasses. So to start off, can you introduce the FemInno conference to our watchers and what exactly is it trying to achieve?
Sure. First, the name. FemInno is the mix of two words, female and innovation. We were kind of playing with words, trying to understand what is best to kind of show what we want to achieve and what we want to reach in terms of expectations of a new established innovation conference in Armenia. That's how we got to FemInno. So basically this is the biggest in its kind conference in Armenia, and I'm not afraid to say in the region, because we have various partners all around Eastern Europe, and we know that almost nothing is happening around our country, and the most east point where women in tech and a big something is happening is Warsaw, and that's a very big partner of ours. So that's the pre-story of how it started. Having been engaged in Girls in Tech for 5 years now, we realized that it is time for Armenia to have a new label, a kind of new something that could unite first the local ecosystem, and on the other hand, that would bring a new attention towards Armenia as a really established technology hub. We say Silicon Mountains, we have different words for that. So basically we decided to create this new label that would appreciate the female women engagement in the sector as well, and also support women in a way. So basically FemInno is a conference, two-day conference, yes, on July 31st, happening first time in the format we position it, but having big and well-established experience of Girls in Tech Armenia in the sector for 5 years now. It's going to be an annual conference. Yes, thank you for mentioning about the speakers from all over. We have speakers from Canada to Nigeria, and of course, good representation of the local talent, experts, and people who have to say something. I want to mention one important thing, that it's not for women. It's a women innovation conference for everyone, meaning it's more than open for men. And we cannot change anything, we cannot reach new results without the participation of men, mostly decision maker men who are engaged in the sector. We are really happy to have been able to engage a lot of men speakers, also from Armenia, some ambassadors from Armenia, based in Armenia, representing their countries, also people from the government who agreed to join and kind of support the cause that women are important, and the female talent and leadership is something important to promote. We say FemInno is a conference for women in business, science, and technology. Why we connect these three? Because we have been working a lot towards uniting efforts and promoting and supporting women in science and technology, but then those are really poor without business side. It is really important to engage the business people who are there to promote also the talent and women in a way. We have workshops, we have recruitment fair, we have different activities, like we try to engage talent from various female talent from various sectors, like chess. There will be young ladies playing chess with the guests. There will be football players, girls from around Armenia, who will do some really fun stuff with balls all around, even in the main hall. So basically we try to kind of bring together a lot of players who put efforts in promoting female talent in Armenia. And when we go back to the idea of FemInno, it's really important to realize that more than 50% of the population of the country are women, and the sooner we realize their potential, promote and support them to grow, the sooner we will have better results. If I could explain what was the cause, the reason to start this in a way.
And also, but you're also the managing director of the Armenia chapter of Girls in Tech, and obviously Girls in Tech is a global non-profit seeking to close the gender gap with regards to the tech sector. What's the connection between Girls in Tech and FemInno? Can you explain that, please?
Sure. I started Girls in Tech Armenia chapter all alone 5 years ago. I mean, when I tell the story of our first event, no one believes that there was one person event, because there about 20 people joined, and among those people, I was able to find future team members. They joined, supported, they realized that this is something important. And now when I'm talking about Girls in Tech as an initiative started in Armenia, as a chapter of a global network, I say at that time, when I was starting, it was not so popular. I mean, I didn't even know what would be the reaction of people when I start talking, it is important to have more women, girls in tech. But now I'm super happy that also due to our own efforts, it is a hot topic, not only in Armenia, but also all around the world. And being a part of Girls in Tech network, we keep on working towards engaging, educating, and empowering women in technology. So the main base team of FemInno are those who are engaged in Girls in Tech. So that's how we working through all these different projects and seeing so many problems, and we realize that there should be a new label to position Armenia in a new way.
Obviously, you started Girls in Tech 5 years ago. I'm wondering if you could tell us a bit about the situation back then. Has it changed? Is there a positive trajectory? What was it like before?
Of course. When, as I said, the conversation was a kind of hidden or not touched, let's say, about women engagement in technology, because the sector is vibrant and is growing daily, I would say. And while growing in sizes, it also needs more and more talent. And with this needs and demand for talent, also brought the importance of a kind of empowering and also valuing the female potential. But it was also supported with initiatives like us and a lot more. Like there are different international organizations even now that support a lot the cause. And when we talk about the change from back 5 years, I would say that it changed a lot even when we talk about the numbers in universities. So basically, when we look on the ratio of girls and boys in universities in computer science and related faculties, there are more and more girls. I would say sometimes there are 50%, which means that at some point we will have a really good, stats. By the way, if we are talking about statistics, Armenia is has a leading position in terms of stats women in tech. We have about 40% yearly. I have to mention that usually those are like overall people engaged in technology companies. So including marketing people, HR, administration, etc. But even that is something still impressive, and we should definitely be proud of that. But on the other hand, we should still push and support those who are in tech, let's say engineering, science, and related fields, because while we observe the situation, even if there are 50% entering universities, for example, different engineering and related faculties, not all finish, or not at least all after graduating successfully find their role in the sector. There are different reasons also linked to society, like they get married and they finish their career, or they stay like low level and they can't move further because of sometimes and often due to family, different roles they have. So basically we should realize that it's not only about talent, but it's also the environment and ecosystem and supporting factors that should be there to support female potential in tech sector. And we do have some very good examples of leading, very few yet, but still good examples of leading companies founded and led by women in tech sector. One good example is SoloLearn, an internationally now positioned and growing startup. Then others also that run and led by women, among them Siemens in Armenia. So basically we have good examples, but those are really very few. So we should still put enough efforts to someday to say that there's no sense in judging the person by gender. It's just about the talent, if it's there or not. So basically we do have more and more women in leading positions within the teams, like team leads, managers, but the glass ceiling is still there. So basically they reach some point, but then there are decision-making men usually, and they don't, they rarely let women to pass through that glass ceiling.
And you mentioned that 40% statistic. I just want to mention that Forbes magazine also said that the percentage of women in Armenia's tech sector is well above the global average. But I did want to also mention that when we speak about that statistic, it was oftentimes brought up, for example, that in the Armenian government there is a lack of women representation in the cabinet, and then people were bringing up this example that in the tech sector it's actually a lot higher. My question though is it also about approaching these companies to, do you work with these companies to encourage them to hire women as well? And I'm also wondering, do you find that there is a distinction between the companies that recognize female talent and the companies that maybe are having a little more trouble in recognizing that? Doesn't it in the end benefit the company better to have an open playing field?
Of course, thank you for the question. That's a very important one. In fact, having diverse teams, including enough women in the staff, is key to success all over the world. Something that is talked over everywhere. And I am happy to say that a number of companies do realize it, by the time. Sometimes it is because they are branches of international companies and they kind of arrive with diversity and inclusion programs within their policies. On the other hand, they spread the virus, kind of showing that it is good, important, it is beneficial for the company and for the results. So basically there are more and more even locally started based companies who look around for talent. That is why among the partners of FemInno, those are mostly for the first time are international companies, but also some relocated companies. We know that there is a good vibe all around. Different Russia-based now moved to Armenia companies that are growing really fast on the ground for recent months. So they also having this internal policies integrated. They approached and joined us to support female potential on the ground, and definitely a lot of talks and conversation within the conference are going to be around diversity and the benefits of diversity in the modern workplace.
So I'm assuming there would also be people representing the tech sector, companies who will see.
Definitely.
I also want to ask though, what sort of women do you find are successful in pushing their careers forward in the tech sector? Do they have to be maybe disagreeable? Do they have to spar with those male decision makers you were saying? And in the conference, is advice provided to young girls of how they can, push their careers forward in the tech sector in an environment which may at times be discriminatory?
Yes. First, about the young girls, we definitely have a specific approach for them to empower enough, because empowerment is the red line through whatever we do. So basically, we had and still on a scholarship program for all young girls. And I'm happy also to mention that there are a lot of partners, supporters from wider diaspora especially, who, even not being able to join the conference, said, okay, I am ready to buy several tickets for girls. Please send them to Artsakh. For example, today, just before this interview, I was talking and watching some videos of thanks from the girls who thank for the tickets to different people in diaspora that gave them this opportunity, because it's going to be a kind of new platform for them to network, to gain this new network, to find them in an ecosystem which will give them new wings and get empowered, of course. Going back to women who could, what kind of women there should be to reach certain levels or to find their way in tech, it just being natural. But considering the environment and the struggles they need to take, sometimes it is seen as, oh, okay, this girl is a kind of, conflict, like creating conflict, etc. But on the other hand, I would say that it's not about those women who are struggling, it's about the environment they are in. And the sooner we realize that women usually put a lot of efforts, whatever sector usually are, especially those dominated with men, they put a lot of efforts to prove they can. And after it, as it is proved in the environment, then they start creating results. So basically we waste 50% of the efforts of women to prove themselves. Mm-hmm. That's something to realize, the sooner the better.
And that's quite a frustrating experience, I can imagine.
Of course.
And that advice is given at the conference and some guidance. I was also wondering, the conference is also a basis for knowledge exchange. Obviously, people who have made strides in the tech sector will, tell about their experiences, maybe inspire some young people with information, experiences. Is that also a way of encouraging women or making them have a way to believe in themselves, to show that they can have a successful career in tech? How does the inspiration part fit into it during the conference? Yeah,
definitely. And that's one very important aspect of the conference itself, to inspire and encourage as many women among the participants as possible, but do it also with the support and help of men. For example, we have a male speaker who's gonna say how to get it right as men, mm-hmm. and talk about the different reasons and problems that men create for women in different fields, but especially in tech sector, but also topics like female leadership as a new normal, and things like that, kind of to open up different problems that we have in Armenia. But this is one of the rare cases that I am happy to say not only in Armenia. So the problems are mostly universal, but everywhere people try to push the importance and the value of female talent. And I hope, and I usually say that one day, I believe, while doing it, we will realize that there is no need doing it anymore. So I kind of realized that it's getting normal. I mean, there are not enough problems to work on, so let's do something else. I usually say that there are a lot of other interesting things that I personally and the whole team would rather do and concentrate on, instead of struggling to cover a lot of problems and to prove ourselves and support women in the sector.
And I'm wondering, are there any countries or cities that you believe have successfully managed to, thin the gender gap, and what are those environments doing that maybe is not being done in Armenia?
I would not say compare, but one really good example is Poland, as I mentioned, and they're really good partners, and they do it. Early June, we were there with a 35 people Armenian delegation in the conference, and they do it for several years now, this year with 10,000 people, and the head and the founder of the conference, Perspektivi conference, is a speaker at our conference. So basically she's going to share how they're doing it and how important to do and to reach and to break these barriers, to close the gender gap and benefit from it.
Okay, and I want to also ask, there is a patriarchal nature to Armenian society, but there are other challenges that may be keeping people from entering the tech sector, in particular women. You mentioned that there is, perhaps family, commitments, other things, but how much do you think is actually about societal attitude? And do you see that changing in the time you have worked in this sphere? Have you seen a societal shift?
Definitely, the societal shift is there, also due to the financial attractiveness of the sector itself. Because even if a father would tell his daughter that you should not go to engineering, that's not a female thing. But after several years, the same father seeing in a village next door girl going here and there, and now having enough financial benefits in Yerevan or somewhere, then the father comes back, and we have really specific examples. The father comes back to the girl, but you should also try. The financial benefits make them through, but I would really prefer that it comes down not only to financial aspect, but just mindset and realizing it. But of course the societal change is there and growing.
And for anyone watching that wants more information, may want to participate, how can people get involved? How can people find out more?
Sure, thank you for that. We just go to our website. It's FemInno with double N, female innovation. So feminno.com, and everything is there. Also different details on speakers and everything, and ways to join us on July 30 and 31st in Yerevan, Hamalij.
Okay, well, Seda Papoyan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on CivilNet.